Hello and welcome to another edition of Paul's Victory Garden. I'm thinking about changing the name of that because from what I see, Paul's Victory Garden is already taken, so we'll get back to that later. Anyway, I just wanted to give a weekly update on where my garden is today. So let's take a walk around and see how it's doing. Starting out with my tunnel garden, this is my tomato bed. And it's been raining for the last 2 days here in North Florida, and my tomatoes are absolutely loving this. They are growing by leaps and bounds. My zinnias, no, these are magnolias, I'm sorry. Not magnolias, marigolds. There we go. My marigolds are loving it. My tomatoes are loving it. My black crims are growing up. My beefsteaks are growing up. Even my Cherokee purples are looking very good today. I had some doubts about them. They were getting curly leaves, and it looked like they were really suffering, and I couldn't understand it. But the rain seems to have really revived them. There's the other Cherokee purple. Then we get into the yellow pear. It's doing great. The super sweet 100s are looking absolutely fabulous. More of the marigolds doing great. My squash is throwing up blooms like crazy on a couple of these plants. Now, the last couple nights I've been coming out with a ultraviolet flashlight and checking for hookworms and anything else that glows under black light, and I haven't found any pest problems yet. My potatoes, they're loving this rain. Some of these are blighted, but other ones seem to be doing okay. One year I had termites get in here. That's why I put this plastic down. The termites were coming up through the weed barrier cloth, up through the bottom of the pots, and were eating the stems of the potato plants from the inside out. It was the darndest thing. So I put the plastic down, and that pretty much resolved that issue. I've done a lot of work on my sweet potato bed over here recently. I planted a bunch of slips that I had in the jar over there. And the sweet potatoes are doing very healthy. I expect to get a pretty good crop of sweet potatoes this year. Hopefully we get more rain. We're still, even though it's been raining the last couple days, we're still way behind on the rain. The asparagus is doing just great. It's pumping lots of energy into the root systems. My plumera over on this side doesn't seem to be showing any signs of life yet. I think I'm going to cut this back even more. There's a lot of dead wood on that, and I'll cut it back some more and see what happens. My lettuce is going great. I expect to start harvesting this within the next week or so. My little sweet potato over here in the bird bath is still throwing up slips, and I'll harvest some more of those. I planted radishes over here, and they're coming up pretty good. Now this plumera is starting to show some signs of life. I think this one's going to be okay. It's going to be stunted because it's got such a late start, but I think it'll be all right. Now the onions, oh my goodness. The onion bed is just doing phenomenal. It is throwing up big onions all over the place. I expect to get a huge crop of onions this year. Got a lot of mushrooms coming up because of all this rain. And some people panic about that. It's like, oh my God, I got mushrooms all over the place. Like, don't worry about it. That's just a sign of soil fertility. I worry a little bit because there's so much wood in this soil that I used, that it might be fungally dominant instead of bacterially dominant. But the plants seem to like it so far, so I'm not going to worry about it. In the meantime, that's the front garden, and everything is looking great over here. So let's take a walk over to the side garden and see how that one looks. Now the side garden, I've done a lot of work on this this last couple of weeks. The biggest change that I made was to the statue of Athena I had here. I had you probably saw it in the previous video, laying off to the side over here. I had a large piece of a fountain that I was planning on eventually converting into a bath, bird bath. And what I've done, I've taken 3 separate sections. I had the base. I don't even remember where I got the base from. The bird bath portion of it I got on Facebook Marketplace. It was free. I stuffed it in the back of my HHR. It took 2 of us to get it in there. And then the statue of Athena I got from a woman that I do some work for here in town. She was kind enough to give it to me. She wasn't using it, so I gave Athena a good home for her. So let's take a look and see what I got going on here. I present to you my Athena bird bath in all of her glory. Luckily I had a friend come by that could help me lift that bird bath portion of it, because the thing weighs easily as much as I do, and I'm close to 200 pounds. I noticed that I was getting some mosquito larvae in there the other day. This is Florida, and we do get, Florida is the mosquito is the Florida state bird, so I ordered some mosquito dunks that are environmentally friendly for the rest of the animals and the birds, and those should be in today. And once I get those in, then I'll take care of that mosquito problem. But I think Athena turned out very well. I've got some pictures that I took of her at night, and this little light that I put in this planter really shows her off. She is a proud lady up there. So thank you, Robin, for the donation to my garden of Athena, and let's take a look at the rest of it. The first change I made here was to enclose this a little bit. This piece of wood, these pieces of wood that these pots are sitting on, is actually the tailgate from an old pickup truck that I had that had a big flat bed on it, and I got rid of the truck, but I forgot to include the tailgate. The truck blew up, so I'm not worried about anybody needing that tailgate. When I built the fountain, where the light is right now in this planter is where it was at in the ground. This is my sweet potato bed, and this little sweet potato is really doing well. Now, last night when I was out here, there was a huge hatching of, it looks like termites. You can see their wings all over the place over here. That's the other thing that concerns me with this soil that I used with the wood content in it. I don't know if all those termites went away or if they are in this soil right now. I'll find out, I guess. In this pot, this was a pepper plant that I had that didn't survive the freezes over the winter, so I pulled it. There's nothing in that, as is the other one. It's empty. I haven't put anything in there yet. My pepper garden over here, I started to talk about this last time, was that I bought 4 of these planters on Facebook Marketplace. They're normally about $40 a piece, and I got 4 of them for $40 because they were used. Looks like I've got something digging in one of my beds here. Luckily, they're not going after the pepper plants. But my datil peppers are looking very healthy. My cubanellas are looking very healthy. I had to stake up my my cayenne peppers because they're starting to fall over. They're getting so heavy with fruit. And once again, the back one, I don't have anything in there. I don't know what I plan to do with that yet. But when the time comes, I'll figure it out. My green stalk, the strawberries are loving all this rain, and they're just soaking it up. They're doing well. I was watching a video last night on different things that people were growing in their green stalks. One of the things was green beans, bush-style beans specifically, and it got me to thinking that I had a bunch of Fort Hook lima beans, and I love Fort Hook lima beans, and they were growing them in a green stalk. So I took the second tier of, or not the second tier, but I went one tier down from where my strawberries are at, and I planted one full tier of Fort Hook lima beans. It's going to be an interesting experiment. I'll either get a crop or I'll just waste some time. Either way, it'll be a learning experience, which is what gardening is all about. My little side yard shelf garden seems to be doing very well. The zinnias are popping up like crazy. I've got some zinnias in here with my shishito peppers. In fact, for Mother's Day, I'm going to cook I'm marinating a steak for dinner tonight, and I told the wife I'll break out some of the shishito peppers, which are ready to harvest, and we'll have some of those too. The borage is doing great. It's getting ready to shoot up sprouts and start flowering. I had marigolds in this little planter. They never did anything, so I reseeded a bunch of marigold seeds in there. Hopefully they'll sprout up with all this rain. There's just something about rainwater that plants love so much more than what comes out of the tap, even though I'm on a well here. My gung bao pepper is doing very well. It's forked up here, and I'm not gonna worry about that. It seems to be healthy and happy, as does my lavender. When I first got motivated to get back into this garden, this lavender plant was extremely dry. In fact, it seems like it might be getting too much water because I'm just noticing as I'm looking through it through the camera lens here that the bottom leaves are drying or are dying off really bad. And I think that's from too much water. I water it on a regular basis anyway, and it came roaring back, and then this rain hit, and I think it's getting too much water. I don't believe that lavenders like that much water. On this other side bed, I amended the bed. I put a bunch of compost and leaf mold and what little bit of soil I had left over, and I sprinkled it liberally with a huge packet of buckwheat. And it didn't do anything for a while, but it looks like this buckwheat is going to grow and take over this bed, and that's what I'm hoping for. I can harvest the buckwheat seeds, and I can grind that into a flour, and I can use that for flavoring sourdough breads. I am a sourdough baker. I love baking bread. And it seems to be doing great. And then after that, I can till this into I'll hand till it into the soil, and that'll add to the fertility of the soil. Buckwheat is a great green manure. My lemongrass, it's looking a little scraggly, but it's early in the season, but it sure is coming back up. At least this plant is. At one time I had three lemongrass plants out here. I gave one away. It was just a little too much. This one is not showing any signs of life yet. I don't know what's going on there. I'm hoping that it's just a late bloomer and that it will come roaring back here before too long. My rosemary plant over here is doing well. I propped it up on a piece of cattle panel that I had, and it seems to be enjoying life. I like to use that for all kinds of different things in the kitchen. Speaking of kitchen, let's take a walk over to the kitchen herb and tea garden and see how that's doing. Well, my red and green sishu is loving life. That stuff is it's extremely invasive, and it's hard to get rid of. It's hard to kill this stuff. And at first, I had a love-hate relationship with it, but after I figured out all its health benefits, I had a change of attitude, and it's really doing well for me. My chives, oh my goodness, look at them go. They're just taking off. Next to that, I've got my lemon verbena. It's doing very well. Behind it is the catnip. And let's go take a look at my little survivor plant back here, the basil. The basil is starting to grow like crazy. I am so happy with this thing. Like I said, I named it Abraham because it's gonna take over this whole world of this earth box right here. I was planning on going to a local nursery and picking up another cranberry hibiscus to fill this pot with, but I got to working yesterday and didn't get a chance to get by there, but that's okay. My oregano, one more that's impossible to kill. It's still plotting to take over the world. My yarrow back there is doing very well. I think I might have to add some soil to that pot. It seems like it's a little bit low. My ginger has popped up and it is going crazy. I love it. Right next to that is my mint. Of course, mint is like the red and green sishu and the oregano. It was built to take over the world, and it's working on it right now. I'm going to have to trim some of this back and dry it out for my tea garden. Once again, more red and green sishu. I haven't done anything with that yet. My aloe, I'm going to break this out, throw this pot away, and repot this. Hopefully it'll get rid of some of this pennywort, dollar weed if you will, and we'll see where that goes. Next, let's go take a look at this spinach and turmeric. The turmeric has finally popped up. This is all the growth from 1 week. Last week, this wasn't even above the ground, and now it's a good 12 inches tall. Apparently, it's been working overtime below the soil, and now that it's broke the soil, it's going nuts. My longevity spinach is doing good. It's looking healthy. I expect it to continue to grow and probably more shoots get up out of there. This bed, nothing yet. I'm still hopeful though. I always remain optimistic about my garden. Let's see where it goes. And let me introduce you to Miss Splash. Miss Splash is my garden kitty. She keeps watch over everything and makes sure all the little critters don't get too carried away with it. We've had Miss Splash for a long time now, and she's getting old, but she's such a lovey puss. Anyway, that's my weekly update for now. I'm hoping in the next update that I'm going to see some growth on the lima beans. This morning when I was sitting at my computer drinking my coffee, I was actually planning out next year's garden, and it got me to thinking about my fall garden also. I'll talk about that more next week about what I plan to grow this fall. But in the meantime, enjoy this Mother's Day.